Well, I'm optimistic, but I'm always optimistic.
The Democrats win the House?
I think it's going to be tough, but I think we can. I think we'll win the Senate, and I think the House is tougher.
What do you think awaits you if it is a Republican-controlled Congress?
What do I think what?
Awaits you. What's your new reality going to be like in Washington?
More difficult.
Are you feeling optimistic? All I know is I'm not holding my breath. And today's the day, November 8th, 2022. The midterm elections have arrived and everyone is waiting to see what the outcome is going to be. There are so many contested races. There are so many close races. But I, for one, am just going to let it ride out. I'm not going to watch any results. I'm going to wait till tomorrow and see what happens. I am not putting on the television tonight. But Joe Biden says he's optimistic, but he's really only optimistic about the Senate. The House of Representatives, he's still not sure. And when the reporter asked him, what awaits you if the Republicans take over? And his words were, it's going to be very difficult. Well, I thought you were optimistic. So if you're optimistic, you should think, well, maybe I can work with them. But they don't want to work with him because he does nothing right. He does everything wrong. But there's a very hotly contested governor's race in Arizona between Kari Lake and Katie Hobbs. And the last couple of polls I saw, Kari Lake had a slim lead, but we all know how polls go. But apparently, there's already problems. And the problems started first thing this morning when the polls opened in Arizona.
So no machines at this center are working at all. Okay, and this is the, what station is this? Okay, this is the Central Christian Church, and none of the machines are working, and they are telling us that we have to leave. And so this is now happening here at this voting station also. At Central Christian, they're not letting you vote. You have to go to a different spot.
It's been reported by more than one media outlet that the voting machines have not been working. They've been malfunctioning. And this, again, is in Arizona where Kari Lake is trying to win the governor's office to try to turn things around in that state. It's just so funny and odd to me that the beginning of the day, people start casting their ballots, and all of a sudden, they're having technical issues. 20% of the voting machines in Maricopa County are malfunctioning. But listen to CNN because they seem to know why, and they're confident that it'll be all worked out and all the votes will be counted.
Now, according to county officials, the problem had to do with passwords being entered too many times. So it appears this is a technical glitch of sorts. Election officials say teams are taking those problem ballots to the county's election center where they will be counted after the polls close at 7 o'clock tonight, local time. So they want to assure voters here no one is being disenfranchised. All those votes, all those ballots will be counted.
It seems the passwords were entered too many times, so that was causing the technical issues. Well, here's my question. How many people have passwords to log in to these computers or voting tally machines? And why do so many people have passwords? Shouldn't there be maybe one, maybe two, three tops election officials who have the authority to log into these machines, to turn them on, to turn them off, to count the votes, whatever? How many people are trying to log in and they're not entering the right password? Because you know as well as I do, if you go on your computer and you log in the password and you forget it, you keep trying, it won't let you do it anymore. It wants you to change the password. So that right there is an issue for me. My head goes to, why do so many people have these passwords? And that should be illegal for more than 3 people to do it. But they're election officials, of course, and they're on the up and up. They're not trying to play any games. They're going to make sure all the votes are counted. They're going to take these ballots in boxes. They're going to put them in a vehicle, and they're going to take them down to wherever they're going to count them. And there's going to be Republicans on hand and Democrats on hand, and they're going to count these votes one at a time, and it's going to be legitimate. That's the faith that we have to have in election officials all over this country, that they are going to do the right thing and count the votes the way they were cast. I, for one, I'm skeptical. I'm sorry. I can't, with all the election nonsense that we've had, like Joe Biden getting over 80 million votes, I'll never believe that, and I'll take that belief to my grave. But that's beside the point. We have to have faith in these election officials who want to do all these things that the Democratic Party wants. We have to go along with all their ideas. We have to go along with everything and every penny they want to spend. And we can't talk about it, because if we talk about it, we're wrong, we're bad, we're extremists, we're violent. No, we're honest, hardworking people who want the right thing done. Because if it wasn't for the people voting, these politicians would not be in office. I'll let the Biden thing go. But the White House press secretary, KJP, we know we love KJP. She tells a hell of a good story. She was asked about election results and what the president was going to do and what he was going to say and was he going to address it. And this is what she had to say.
As I previously said, we expect the president will address the elections the day afterwards. And when we have details on the timing of that, we, of course, will share it with all of you. But I also just want to note, as you all know, because you guys have covered this these past couple of years, in 2022, it took 2 weeks to call every state. In modern elections, more and more ballots are being cast in early voting and also by mail. And many states don't start counting those ballots until after the polls close on November 8th. So you heard the president say this the other night. He has been very clear on this as well. We may not know all the winners of elections for a few days. It takes time to count all legitimate ballots in a legal and orderly manner. That's how this is supposed to work. And it's important for us to all be patient while votes are being counted. This is not just for all of you, but this is also for the folks who are watching.
Now, do we take her at her word that everything's going to be on the up and up? And one word that she used that I just used a minute ago, they're going to make sure that all the legitimate votes are counted. Well, shouldn't all the votes be legitimate? Now, we know in the past there's been issues that some people may have voted twice. There may have been votes cast from dead people. We've all heard that story for years. This is nothing new. But why do you have to emphasize that we're going to make sure all the legitimate votes are counted legally? What other way would there be? Why would it be illegal to count the votes? It doesn't make sense. This is just another way for her to skate around the issue that people are skeptical. People do not trust this administration. They trust zero about what this administration does. They have lied nonstop from day one. Every time the president's on TV, he lies, and he's been fact-checked, and it's all lies. But they continue to do it, and she continues to hold these press conferences with her binder full of stories and tells the reporters what she thinks they want to hear. I, for one, don't ever believe anything she says or anything Biden says. But who are we? We're nobodies. We're just the people going to the polling place and casting our vote. and that's how it's always going to be. But I think that in the future, if these Democrats take control again and keep control, they're going to come up with some way to skate around the legalities of the election process, because we do know that they don't want people to have to show IDs to vote, because that's discrimination. How is it discrimination to show your ID? Shouldn't you have to prove who you are, where you live, and that you're voting in the right district? Absolutely. You need an ID for everything, and voting should be the main thing you need an ID for. So all these voter ID deniers, the Democrats who think it's discrimination, they think it's racist, they think it should be done away with, they only want that so they can send whomever they want to the polls in any district to cast a vote in their favor. That's my opinion, and I'm pretty sure all of you watching this may have the same opinion, because we've heard this all too many times. Voter ID is racist. Voter ID is discrimination. Give me a break. Do the right thing. Show an ID. If you're who you say you are and you can prove it, here's your ballot. Go cast your vote. However you want to vote, you do it. But you prove first who you are. And we all know there's fake IDs. We know that. But there's got to be a process where you show some form of photo identification to cast a vote in an election, especially one as important as this. So now we just all sit and wait to see what happens. And again, I'm not holding my breath for the results of this thing. I do think it's going to be a day or two or more before it gets all worked out, because there's going to be lawsuits, there's going to be battles, there's going to be recounts. And one, speaking of lawsuits, Fetterman in Pennsylvania, his campaign has already filed a lawsuit because he wants all the absentee ballots and all the early voting ballots counted no matter what date is written on them. I guess their election laws and rules are it has to have a certain date on it or it won't be counted. But they want votes counted with no date on them, with any date. So he's suing the election officials in Pennsylvania to have those votes counted. That worries me too, because the last poll I saw with Oz and Fetterman, Oz took a substantial lead. But Oprah Winfrey came out and endorsed Fetterman. So what's that tell you? It tells you they're running scared that they got this billionaire liberal who doesn't even live in Pennsylvania, but she's friends with Oz, endorses Fetterman. Give me a break. They're running scared. All we can do is wait and see what happens, and we can hope that the right thing is done and the right people win the offices they're running for. And if they don't, we'll continue down this path of destruction that the Biden administration is leading us in, and all we can do is hope for the best. And that's it. So I hope the candidate you voted for wins. If not, we'll try it again in 2 years when the presidential election rolls around. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already liked this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell. Share my videos with someone if you will. I'd appreciate that. I'll see you again real soon with my thoughts on the election results whenever they come in. Take care.